And pick who they manipulate, and how do you know when they're genuinely interested?
Oh, there's always a profile to a manipulator. I'll give you some common reasons how they can tell if you're easy to abuse, manipulate, or exploit. Number one is if you're codependent. Another one, if you have low self-esteem. If you discount the positives, that's another thing. If they compliment you and you minimize yourself. If you're a catastrophic thinker, whether you magnimize things or you minimize things. If you operate from a place of low self-worth. If you shy away from just general conversations, those are the things that they pay attention to. If you have trauma, that's another thing. And if you are vocal about your trauma, if you have trauma from previous relationships, if you have negative experiences in your childhood and you are vocal about that, they can see that. They can see that in the way you speak, in the way you behave, in the way you interact with people. That is the easiest way to identify if they can manipulate you. If there are certain qualities about yourself that you find low, if you have a lack of self-confidence or anything like that, they're going to take that weakness that you have and they're going to exploit that to use it against you. That's the way that they can tell if you're a person that they can manipulate.
All right, go ahead, Sweeney, and then we'll go to Casey.
My question is, how do we know any of this about her? We don't know what he told her. Now, I get now what he did on that panel. I'm in complete alignment with what Bruiser said. He didn't want to ruffle any feathers on that panel. We remember when he tried to get on to reveal the fourth person, he said, I don't know if I should reveal that person. That lets me know that he didn't want to have that conversation publicly with them and about them. And he didn't want to be confrontational. Probably for the reason that Bruiser said, probably for a business reason, who the fuck knows? But what we don't know is the conversation he had with her. Because we're saying that he manipulated, but maybe he did tell her, hey, look, what these kind of people are saying to you just ain't right. They, you know what I mean? That's not in alignment with what we believe in, our belief systems, or whatever the hell he told her not to follow. She listened. That's the. And then they tried. Casey, real quick, did they? Or I don't know if it was Casey or Ruth who said it, but were they asking that woman on that panel, like his woman, blink twice if you were in trouble and all that shit? Was they doing that on the show?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it played on the clip, but during the show, after hearing him speak and hearing everything he had to say, they compared it to one of those situations where if she was there, they would kind of say, blink twice if you're in trouble, because it almost seems as though as he was controlling and she might have been in a situation that she probably needed some help getting out of.
Yeah, they were a problem. Now he may be very I don't want to call him bitch made because that's just jacked up, but in regards to how he addressed those men in the room, because I'll tell you straight up why I don't like you. But no problem. Like, nigga, I don't like what you have to say. I don't like why you pray. I don't like the Bible verses that you read. I don't like what you preach. That's why I don't want her following you. Obviously, he didn't want to do that. But if they was willing to say some shit like that to her, and they was trying to drill him on that, and they was trying, like, it seemed very catty. And I could see why I wouldn't want my wife to be listening to nobody like that either.
But Sweeney, it wasn't even like they were giving her business advice. They were trying to give her relationship advice, like they were the experts on that. So for that reason alone, he could be like, you know what? Since they want to interfere.
But he's the one that has to marry this woman. And he probably don't want her embracing that ideology that they're pushing.
Yeah, the only thing I can go off of is the reasons that he gave. And it sounded like he was leaning towards their ideology as far as religion or whatever the hell, because he was like, do you pray twice a day or what do you do that? Like, it started to sound like he didn't agree with the shit that they talk about over there.
But they said something about no sex too, something like that.
I don't know, but I would say that shit, she listened. And I think he probably was very vocal with her and talked to her about why he didn't want them following her. And he even said, and the reality is that to a degree, I've also unfollowed people or things when I didn't want to have that type of energy in my life. Where if I don't want to talk about this particular topic anymore, or listen to this particular subject matter, I unfollow everybody that has anything to do with it because it negatively or it may have a negative effect on my life. So that might have been what he was noticing was that, hey, look, there's some things that's going on with us aligning with this type of rhetoric that we're seeing online, and I don't think it's good for us. So I think it's time for us to reset. Because he did say that also. He said reset the algorithm. I've done that plenty of times where I was like, damn, I'm tired of seeing the same shit. And literally had to start unfollowing and unsubscribing to certain shit. That way I can reset my algorithm to go in a completely different direction.
He really does sound like he's trying to control her. Don't get me wrong. It does sound like that, but in general, we keep just jumping to conclusions, and that's the issue. And sometimes that's all you get is that one little moment to catch it. Because that is something
Well, they was based on what he was saying. So I couldn't really, again, it was an hour and 10, 15 minute video, and I couldn't really play the whole thing. But if you listen to it, I think you guys may think differently. Something ain't right.
I heard that part.
Well, yeah, when he said that whole you thinking for yourself type thing, I heard something different. Again, I think it was tied into what he believes religiously, where he's like, I don't believe in just doing whatever you want to. That's what I heard, like, or just going with the flow, moving however you want to move. It sounds like he wants them to move in a direction that's far more structured or what have you. I don't fucking know, but that wasn't what I got from when he said.
But when they was asking specifically what it was that he disagreed with, he couldn't answer that. So he didn't really have anything that he didn't disagree with. He just didn't want them following him because she seemed to be consuming or paying attention to them. He wanted attention on him.
And I'm a firm believer that you can't control nobody. I think that I wouldn't go to the extreme and say he's trying to control her. And I might be hearing the difference. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm hearing is he's trying to control the things that enter into her mind that could influence or shape the way she sees things or views things. And I don't think that's controlling a person, because at the end of the day, she still got a choice at the end of the day, whether she want to receive that, make those changes, unfollow these people, or go through this list of things that he's trying to instruct her to do for the best interest of the relationship.
And I can understand that.
Can I interject?
Real quick, I can understand that, Bruiser, but they was seeking clarity and understanding as to what it was specifically. And when he couldn't answer that, then it's just like you just basically want her to unfollow these people just because. Now, if he can explain himself so they can understand, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But the fact that he couldn't come up with anything, and then he kept trying to,
it could be the other side, which is the most embarrassing side, which is the list of guys that he wanted her to unfollow. It's the guys that he believed may appear attractive to her or her taste, or he don't want her to. It could be a jealousy issue.
And when he said he couldn't fight, he never had a fight in his life. That's
So how do men feel when a woman goes through?
Because I've heard of, I've had friends, had brothers and stuff where their girlfriends' wives told them to unfollow certain people because they didn't like how she looked, or they were too friendly, or she liking a lot of your pictures. I want you to unfollow her. You watch her stuff too much. Unfollow her. Like that's embarrassing for a man to do that. You know what I'm saying? On a podcast that's going to be showed to millions of views, and he probably trying to protect his insecurity. So it could be that side, but the other side, I'm still sold on the fact that he don't have any balls enough to stand up to these guys that he don't agree with as far as their principles or ideology.